All right, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at lesson 9.5. This actually ends up being our last lesson of the chapter. Hooray! And we're going to look at volumes of pyramids and cones. All right, so the volume of a pyramid. Once again, we're going to just start off by looking at that formula because we don't have a whole lot of vocab that we need to do anymore because we learned all the vocab that we need. But the volume of a prism. Oh, actually, it's a pyramid. Sorry. The volume of a pyramid is 1/3. So we're going to have that fraction in there again. The product of the area of the base, so we're back to that big B, and the height. So we have to find the area, big B, multiplied by the height, and then we have 1/3 of that. So what does that look like in words? 1/3 big B times H. So remember, this is area, so you've got to use those area formulas for triangles, for rectangles. So the follow-up, it says write the formula for the volume of a prism, write the formula for the volume of a pyramid. In both formulas, what does B stand for? In both formulas, what does H stand for? And then which two formulas in this chapter use slant height? So I want you guys to do this now, so you have to look back at some of your previous lessons, 9.4, 9.3, and then we will check that in class. All right, so example 1, we want to find the volume of a pyramid. So if we take a look at this, we're going to start with our formula, 1/3 base times height. The big B is area of the base. So when we take a look at big B, this is my base, it's this rectangle, and I'm going to do 5 times 4. So we have 20 feet squared. So you need to actually calculate that 20. We then need to multiply by the height, which is this 6 there. So this number isn't in my diagram. I have to calculate that 20. And so we're going to have 1/3 times 20 times 6. You can type that into your calculator, and it'll tell you 40 cubic feet. If we take a look at B, it's a triangular prism. And so with my formula, I have 1/3 big B times H. So I need to find the area of that base, which is 1/2 length times width, or base times height. So it's 1/2 times 7 times 6, which is going to give me 21 meters squared. So, they give us this. We're going to do 1/2 times 7 times 6 times the area, times that height, which is 8, all right? But we need to have these numbers in there. So whether you fill it in all at once or whether you calculate it separately, we're going to do 1/3 times 21 times 8, which is 56 cubic meters. All right, so here is your checkpoint, ladies and gentlemen. You are going to do now on your own, and then we will check in class. You've got good examples to look back at, but you have to remember you should be calculating big B equals. You're going to do this one. It's a rectangle, so you have to do length times width, and then plug it into your volume formula of 1/3 B times H. Here we have a rectangle, and so you need to find big B, which is length times width, and then do your volume formula. And here we have a triangle, so big B is 1/2 length times width. So you're going to have to do those first before you can calculate your volume. All right? So now what we're going to do is take a look at the volume of a cone. So the volume of a cone is equal to 1/3 the product of the area of the base and the height. Now the nice thing about these cones is that the area of our base is always the formula for the area of a circle. So we're going to have 1/3 big B times H. But because we always can calculate the area of the base with the same formula, pi times radius squared times height. So you can use either one of those. We usually do better when we use our 1/3 pi times radius squared. So that's just the area formula of the circle. So your follow-up. You can use the formula V equals base times height to find the volume of a blank and a blank. So you need to look back at lesson 9.4 to figure out what goes there. This is going to be here from 9.5. You can use the formula V equals 1/3 area of the base times height to find the volume of a blank and a blank. The volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the volume of a blank with the same height and base. And the volume of a cone is 1/3 the volume of a blank with the same height and base. So I'm excited to see what you guys do for these. So you're going to do now. And then once again, these will be ones that we check in class. All right, so example 2, we need to find the volume of that cone. So we're going to take a look. The radius is 8 centimeters and the height is 12 centimeters. So we have everything we need for our formula of the cones. We're going to type in 1/3 pi times 8 squared times 12 for the height because we're substituting 8 for R and 12 for H. So we can type that all into our calculator exactly the way it appears. We're going to type in 1/3 times pi times 8 squared times 12. And we get approximately 804.25. So the volume is about 804.25. If we look at our units, they're centimeters. And because it's volume, it's centimeters cubed. All right, our last example is similar to what we were doing with surface area of cones, except now instead of finding the slant height, I'm given the radius and the slant height, which means I need to find the height of the cone to find the volume. I have to find this. Well, we're going to use that same relationship. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So R squared plus H squared equals L squared. So I've got 3 squared for my radius that I can plug in, and 5 squared for my slant height. So this is going to be 9 plus H squared equals 25. You're going to subtract 9 from each side and get H squared equals 16. And then you're going to take the positive square root. So you take the square root of each side, and so H is equal to 4. So now I have a height of 4 inches there. So when we look at our formula, we've got 1/3 times pi times radius squared. So I'm going to plug in 3 for radius times the height of 4. So we can type that into our calculator, and we have 1/3 times pi times 3 squared times 4. And that gives me about 37.70. The 9 rounds the 69 up to 70. So it's about 37.70 inches cubed. But this Pythagorean theorem, we're going to use the same thing we were using in lesson 9.3 notes. So if you look back at those in your worksheets, that's what we should be doing. But that's going to give us our height. So for number 4, we want you guys to find the volume of the cone. I'm going to do number 6 with you guys just to give us another practice there. We need to find this height, and so I need to do Pythagorean theorem. So I know H squared plus 10 squared. I have to take just the radius. And so if the diameter is 20, this is 10. And that's going to equal 26 squared. So this is H squared plus 100 is equal to 676. We minus 100, and then we take the square root. So we take the square root of 576, and we get H is equal to 24. So I know that my H value is 24 meters. So when I go and take a look at the formula for volume of a cone, volume is equal to 1/3 pi times radius squared times height. So I'm going to have 1/3 times pi times 10 squared. We use that same radius that we used here, times the height of 24 that we just found. So we will type that all in our calculator. 1/3 times pi times 10 squared times 24. And we get 2,513.27, and this is meters cubed. So this is what we do for our volume. But in order to get this H value, we had to use the Pythagorean theorem. And so what you're going to do now is 4 and 5. Those match up really nicely to example number 2, because you have the height. You have a height of 9 that you can use in your formula, and you have a height of 7. So finish those, and we'll check those in class. When we take a look at 7 and 8, I want you guys to do 7. It gives you the words that you need for finding the volume of a cone. Number 8, we're going to skip that one because I'm going to give you guys a chance to work on this in class. All right? That's all for this evening, and we will see you tomorrow.